Download the BCSN Plus app today. Local sports all the time. Visit BCSNNation.com for details. Discounts may apply. Baseball with Bruce is brought to you by State Farm agent Julie Spann Johnson. Covering your bases and protecting your future. Call Julie for all of your insurance needs.
Week 3, Baseball with Bruce Johnson. Bruce back in studio with us. Bruce, thank you so much for taking the time.
Appreciate it. Glad to be here, Yao.
Now, in the book of Bruce, you have 3 players that stood out as your newsworthy items. Who are they?
First of all, Tyler Grace. What a season he's having for Toledo Christian, but last week was dynamite. On the season, he's got 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, 11 stolen bases, just doing everything he can for Jacob Frank and the Toledo Christian Eagles, who are at about 500 on the season. I did the game Friday, St. Francis, St. John's, and what a classic it was. Charlie Pastula with absolutely dynamite. The young sophomore, the thing I liked about him, you never knew if he was ahead or behind in the game. If there was a fielding error, he just went back to the mound. I loved his body language. I loved his composure. He was on it from the very first inning for the St. Francis Knights.
And then we have Kyle Schroop. Remind me what his ERA is?
0.00. That wasn't a typo. That was not a typo. He threw a no-hitter last week for the Bowser Blue Racers against Port Clinton. And the thing I liked, I talked to his head coach, Kenny Blum, on Monday, and he said, quote, he's a lunch pail guy who brings it every day and just works to get better. You can't say much more about a young man than that.
Tells you why he was the City League Player of the Year last season.
Most definitely.
And speaking of St. Francis, it is featured in your Game of the Week this week.
Yeah, Game of the Week's going to be another dynamite game right here on BCSN, Friday at Don Kober Field at St. Francis. The Central Catholic Fighting Irish, who have struggled a little bit, but I know Jeff McCarley's got a great team over there, take on St. Francis and Bobby Edgell. I think that's going to be an awesome game. Tune in, folks. You're going to want to see that.
St. Francis 9-1 in its previous 10 games against Central Catholic, the combined score being 85-25.
Yes.
Wow, that is something. And as for your spotlight team of the week?
It's got to be the Anthony Wayne Generals. Started out this season rated #1 in the state of Ohio in Division I. Slipped a little bit, but Ryan Donnelly has the Generals playing great baseball. And the reason they're my team of the week, they beat St. Francis, St. John's, and Orchard Lake St. Mary's last week, a Michigan powerhouse. And everybody knows their pitching staff. You got Owen Graff and Jackson Urinovich, a Tommy Keck, for example, who does great work, and Eli Donawa, a Crew Carroll. They just have it all at Anthony Wayne, and look for them to continue on having a tremendous season.
The Generals, winners of 7 of their last 8 games. The lone loss coming against Northview, who they beat the next day.
Yes.
And as for your spotlight player of the week, who you are in?
It's Perrysburg. I got to go with Braxton Mefford. And the reason I like this kid so much, first of all, he's batting .543 on the season, has a nearly .600 on-base percentage. And the thing I like about Braxton, when he's playing well and getting on base, that Perrysburg team's dynamic, and they can beat anybody.
Mefford, only one of 4 starters to return for the Yellow Jackets this year. Doesn't seem to matter, as Perrysburg is 10-3 to begin the year. So now we take a look at your top 10. Some movement here. As soon as I saw the top 10, I was absolutely pleased. Anthony Wayne making a bump up to #1.
Yes.
What stood out about the Generals? You spoke about them as your spotlight team, but what gave them that extra boost to make them #1?
Just their week last week was so amazing to me. They beat St. John's, they beat St. Francis, Orchard Lake, St. Mary's. But when you look at it, I got Perrysburg #2. And let me tell you, those 2 teams meet in 2 weeks, and that's where it'll all be decided. Then you have St. John's and St. Francis right there. Ottawa Hills was still only 1 loss on the season. I have Clay a little higher than Napoleon right now, and Mommy makes it into my top 10.
You teased them last week, sneaking in, and here they are. And as for the Generals, beating #3, #4, and now they play #2 2 weeks or a week from Monday. So I cannot wait for that.
That's going to be super. Get your popcorn ready.
I know, that's right. And finally, the alumni you would like to shout out?
Braden Curry, former Anthony Wayne pitcher who got his first win over Ohio University in Mid-American Conference play. Last week, he had 5.1 innings of shutout relief for the Rockets. Braden, you're doing a great job. Just keep it going, young man.
Bruce will be joining us every week throughout the baseball season. Bruce, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Yao.